if you think of Facebook and their WhatsApp and Instagram and all of those things, we got to use those products, but the shareholders got rich. The Web3 changes that equation is the users can get rich too. And that becomes really interesting because you can own a part of the network. So I think there's something around this that is where the world will go, because humans do want to socialize. They do want to help each other. They do want to have competitive spirits. They don't want to sit at home and get paid universal basic income. They want a purpose. And if your purpose can be promoting Taylor Swift, great. And if you can make money from that, great. So crypto side has been, outside of AI, the fastest adoption of any technology in all of humanity. It has been following a perfect log trend. And what was it staggering is last year, the number of active wallets in crypto grew 42% in a year when the market went down 80%. That's like, oh my God. We're now at 516 million users. By the end of 2030, we'll be well over 1 billion users, maybe 2 billion users. So it is a very prevalent technology. And it's happening this cycle everywhere. It's kind of everything everywhere all at once. The banks are using it. They're already trying to settle securities on it. They're using it for payment systems. We're seeing Visa using it for payment systems. We're seeing mega brands like Mercedes-Benz or Starbucks using Web3 NFTs. We're seeing Hermes, LVMH as a broader company adopting this. We are seeing the ongoing adoption globally of cryptocurrency as an investment vehicle. So what is going on here? Here's a nice way of framing all of this. And it makes it easier for people who are kind of crypto cynical or don't really understand it. We have two worlds. We talked about this before. We have the physical world that we live in, your world of North Carolina, or my world of the Cayman Islands. And then we've got the digital communities that we live in. The crypto land and fiat world are these two worlds. Now, we've talked about GDP is slow in fiat world because of aging populations, debt, and lack of productivity. But over in crypto land, the population's growing at 42% a year in a year when the economy went down 80%. You've got productivity improvements as new uses of blockchain technology get introduced every day. And you've just wiped out the debt from the previous cycle. So you have an extremely fast-growing emerging market. And what happens is you're now seeing fiat world participants set up offices in crypto land. Franklin Templeton, Fiat, Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, TRS, they're setting up offices there. So we love this place. We think it's a dynamic economy. We want to build stuff here. So I first saw Bitcoin 2012 and I wrote that macroeconomic strategy paper on it. It was the first one ever written about Bitcoin, how to value it. And I said, listen, I think this thing could be worth, if you value it in the same way you value gold, this thing's worth $1 million. I'm like, this is the best macro risk reward I've ever seen in my entire career. And so I bought it then, as did many of my kind of global macro investor people at the time. I wrote it up and it went up 5x very shortly afterwards. And then collapsed 87%. My time horizon, however, was long. I'm like, this is an option. It could go to zero because it was still very early days, but I think it could be worth 100 grand. May of 2017, I was up 10x from my original entry. Having seen it go down 87%, I was now 10x from my entry. I'm like, okay. And then there was a lot of confusion in the space. And I could see it was like ramping up. I'm like, I'm just going to take profits. Great trade. I thought, I'm a god. I'm like George Soros here. I've just nailed it. It then goes up another 10x. I should have kept it for the 10 years, but I didn't. I buy back in at 6,500 and still hold it to this day. It went up 10x, come down, going back up. Great. Made a lot of money from it. I always show the log chart and these business cycles in the log chart. I'm like, what happens if I just added my original investment every time it got to one of these business cycle lows? I would have made 25 times as much. I'm like, even though I did well from it. So this time around, I knew we were going to get a down cycle. I didn't get the top. I thought it was going to go higher, whatever. It's irrelevant. The ETF, people need to think of as a trade deal between fiat world and crypto land. So it's a trade deal to allow capital to flow into this other economy. And as that economy, crypto land, grows fast, a lot of money is going to go down through this pipe of the trade deal, which is the ETFs, and then will flourish within that economy. Well, this is the fastest growing economy we've ever witnessed. It just happens to be a digital one. It has its own system of currency, its own interest rates and central bank policy. It has a financial system, which is DeFi. It has states like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, whatever it may be. These are states within crypto land. And those have different policies. We have taxation systems within crypto land. We have assets, NFTs, within crypto land. And I think that for individuals, as I said, there's only two assets that outperform this. That's technology and that's crypto. Okay, fine. People are waiting for a collapse, the market's down 80%. It can't. The reason it can't is the central bank debased the currency and it makes the stock market go up. This whole understanding, both the exponential age and the everything code that came later. And none of us could understand technology and why it kept going up. We kind of could understand crypto because it's like this macro phenomena of, a whole different financial system, parallel financial system, getting adoption, etc. But technology, none of us got, apart from the few. And when I started dividing everything by the central bank balance sheets to take account debasement, I saw that technology was one of the things that just kept rising. And that led me to dig into this whole process. And that completely changed my framework of the world. I wasn't looking for the blow up now. I was looking for the melt up. And, crypto markets had taught me to use these logarithmic charts of these trends. If you look at the chart of Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, all of these, on a logarithmic chart, they're almost perfectly smooth trends. They're network adoption models.